What's good, YouTube? It's Alex with Gorilla Radio Health and Gorilla Yoga. I'm here with Batya, Shemesh, and David, fresh off their interview with Stu Taylor. Very inspired, very energetic. We're going to recap the interview here. Take it away.
Thank you, Alex. You can also see the interview here on Gorilla Radio. We thank Alex for his time and this opportunity. And this will be uploaded to YouTube as well. And you can see this on YouTube and you can see it on Gorilla Radio. Alex, you want to say where to go to Gorilla Radio?
Yes, the YouTube channel is Gorilla Yoga. Gorilla Yoga. So just Gorilla Yoga is a YouTube channel.
Okay.
That's where you'll find this.
Very good. All right. So we just had an interview with Stu Taylor, and it was on his radio station at 11:20 a.m. That's the Stu Taylor show is on. That's the station for it. And one of the questions that he asked was about reincarnation. And one of the things that Batya said is there's no such thing as hell after this life. There's only hell on this world, in this world, and that because hell is negative, and there can't be such a thing as negative spirituality that is existing in an afterlife, so that the possibilities are few after a person dies. So, and we have life after life experiences that many people have, and some people come. Everybody comes back into this world, and they have a different idea of the purpose of life and the meaning of life in this world, and what the next world is like. It differs for different people, and there are some similarities. And they have a feeling then, because they come back into their own life, they're reincarnated into their present reincarnation. And Batya, maybe you want to take it from here to say more as to what happens after a person dies.
Well, there have been a lot of stories about near-death experiences. These experiences show that there are a lot of differences and there are a lot of similarities between between different people. But what's common about all the near-death experiences is that it's short, and the person comes back to Earth. But if the person doesn't come back to Earth, they not only get to see their whole life in front of them, like they do in the near-death experiences. When people tell the stories about near-death experiences, usually they say that they saw their whole life go through them like a video very quickly. But if you stay and you're not coming back, and you're not going back to Earth, then you get to see your whole life slowly. Not every single detail, unless you want to, but a lot of details, and it could take many years to go through them. If you, everybody depending on what happened. These encounters sometimes have to stop, because sometimes the thing the person did was so bad that he's complaining. He said, "No, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. I didn't hate my wife. I just said it for a joke." So somebody said, "I hate you, I hate you." So I said, "Okay, what are you saying to your wife? You hate you? What? It's not nice. She loved you. She took care of you, and then you say you hate her. So then God is going to test you in heaven. He'll test you in heaven. You're going to forget that this woman was your wife, and you're going to have to judge her and judge yourself without knowing. And when you give yourself judgment, then you accept the judgment. Because more important than that the judgment is just is that the person who is getting the judgment trusts that this is what he deserves. If he doesn't trust that this is what he deserves, then it's not justice. A person has to go out and say, yes, I was wrong, I deserve this. Because then you can't be fixed. You just feel like you're punished. You feel like God is hurting you. So there's nothing like that. Sometimes what we do is so bad that we have to come back to earth and we live again. Most of us are here to fix things that were serious. You're not coming here because you yelled at your kid. You're coming here for much more serious stuff. And when we come back, we have a job. We're given a job to fix what we did wrong. Sometimes we ask for different kinds of opportunities, like say, of course I was crazy because I didn't have any money. Give me money, give me a good life, and you'll see I'll do better. So God gives you a good life, and you're born to a rich family. Let's see you can do like with that. Different kinds of opportunities, you get different kinds of opportunities and different chances in order to fix yourself, because the ultimate purpose of this earth is that we have to fix our neshama and become a whole person and love ourselves, not feel guilty to ourselves, and love others. Sometimes good people come back. And the people who are good come back out of choice. Hashem even told me that Moses came back to this earth because he wanted to fix things. So we can choose to come back, because in heaven there's no fixing anything. So we're going to choose to come back because we want to be better, or because we want to help our family be better, help our loved ones be better, so we can be together in heaven. So we come back and we help other people. We help our good friends. I can't go to heaven without this good friend to save my life. I can't do it. So sometimes you feel very close attachment to a friend, not even a relative, because that's your job, to save them. And you have to do that. You should never deny your soul's feeling to be with someone, to help someone. You should never close out what your soul wants from you. You should always go with your own intuition. The more you tune into yourself, into your own intuition, for good things, not for bad things, the more intuition you'll have. If it's a bad thing, it's like the evil inclination, like where a person was born with the evil inclination. When God created the world, by the time of Noah, God said, I see that the people have the evil inclination, and they did bad. So he decided that everybody has to live only 120 years instead of 600, 700, 800 years like it says in the Bible. So he made a change in a person's lifespan, in the way they're built, the way their health. And this change began before the flood, because this verse is spoken before the flood. But Hashem said, no, it's not working. Even though the people only living 120 years, they're still corrupt. That's it. We have to have a flood. The only thing that saves us is Noah. Noah's a righteous man. He's going to start again. And when he starts again, Hashem is not so stringent on that 120 mark, because it didn't really work so well. So there are some people who lived 150, 175. But nowadays, we're so corrupt, we don't change, we don't improve ourselves, we just continue life the way we live the same. So why even live 120 years? It's no point. A person lives until Hashem sees that they can't change anymore, even if they're righteous. A lot of righteous people die because they came to a point in their life where they feel that they're set in their ways, or Hashem feels they're set in their ways, and they're not going to change. They're not going to. They feel that they have the truth, and they're not going to change and learn and improve. If you want a long life and a healthy life with your brain, because of course if you have Alzheimer's, then you're not alive. You have to keep on improving. You never say it's enough. Never say I did enough. Never say my ideology is perfect. I'm not going to change it. Always be open to learning. Always be open to understanding and listening and changing. Say, I have a great grandchild. Let's invite her over. Let's see what she can teach me. She's from the new generation. You keep on doing that, God will bless you with a longer life, because He's excited for you to change. When we go upstairs, we're not going to be able to change anymore. You have any questions?
I guess my question for y'all right now would be, I really like the concept that we're here to improve ourselves, and there's no improvement done in heaven. I really like that. So this is literally like a training ground almost for the next life. I guess my question for you is there a life after the next life? Is it like a continuous chain of like lives? Are there levels that continually go up and up and up? Or is like the next level we reach the last level? Like the final level? Like is heaven the final level of our soul journey?
Oh, they're different. Heaven is very complicated. There are different levels in heaven.
Within heaven.
Within heaven, yeah, it's very complicated because, of course, a person could be a very good person and they never sinned and they were always good, but they're not going to go be with Jeremiah in heaven. They're not going to have fun. Of course, there are different levels. So you can't go, you can't go to wherever you want. So there's a whole world up there, but we don't really know exactly how it works. But I do know that one of the ways to go up a level is to come back on Earth.
Okay.
You come back on Earth in order to improve better. Yeah.
One of the things that I learned from you is that heaven is a spiritual world, and that there are many people who are good in their ways in this world, and they treated others well. They save their money, they use their money for good things, and they're not so spiritually inclined, so that their being in heaven isn't so fitting for them compared to someone who has developed their spirituality more and focused on that more, so that people can have another reincarnation, another incarnation, also to develop their spiritual side, and besides correcting what they may have done wrong materially in this world. From what
I would say that's most of the people. That's most of the people. Most people are not that spiritually inclined. And when they come back to this earth, we get to have a better earth because they're getting a reward. So we're getting to have a nice earth that we have refrigerators and washing machines and computers and videos and all kinds of interesting things to make the life better because we earned it. We earned it. We started from scratch. We started from living in the middle of the jungle, and we earned what we're getting here. And that's one of the reasons why the advance in technology is so big, because we're getting rewarded. And some of the reasons why this advance in technology is so that we will be able to understand heaven better. We could not understand the whole concept of seeing your life in front of you before there were videos. Now we can see it. We can know because we can tape it ourselves. If we can tape it ourselves, of course God has a tape of everything we went through.
We have DVDs and movies, as you said, and you talked about the person judges themselves without knowing that they're judging themselves, and they can be put in heaven. I learned from you that they can put in heaven in like a play or in a drama, and they see how they do, and they don't know.
Holodeck.
Yeah.
Holodeck. You get to go on a holodeck in heaven.
Like in Star Trek.
And see how you do in the holodeck.
Yes.
But
and you don't know that, and you're watching the holodeck play or drama, and you don't know that it's you in it. And
no, you can actually be also in the holodeck.
Oh, so you
you be in the holodeck. You get a gun, you get a rifle, you get to kill whoever you want to kill. Wild West. You don't know anything. You're free. And see what you do. See what you do with your anger. See who you really are. And when you see, oh my God, I'm really a person who could kill someone, then you say, okay, I deserve this. I'm gonna go back, and I'm going to do better.
One of the reasons I learned that the world is advancing is because of the goodness in it. In courts in this world, you don't find the truth. The truth isn't sought. The truth isn't found. And in heavenly reviews, there's no mistaking the truth. And part of the reason that the world is advancing is that on the internet, there's more and more truth coming out. There's many people that would say that no, there's a lot of junk on the internet. You can't believe this. You can't believe that. And there's a lot of things that are on the internet that are just not in the media. And it takes like everything in investigation to separate what's true from what's not true. And I salute Alex and his work in guerrilla radio because there he's definitely pursuing the truth.
Thank you.
And this advances the world.
Wow, thank you.
I see you. You looked like you had a question.
Yes, I actually have two questions. I really like what you said about coming back, reincarnating for self-improvement to improve your character. But what was the crazy point I like is some people reincarnate to help their soul family, their family in heaven, or their friends in heaven. So I guess what I'm trying to ask is, you just don't come back to improve character. Is it true that you come back to help your family up in heaven? And would you call that your soul family?
No, you help your family on Earth.
On Earth.
Let's say you the last reincarnation you love somebody. If it's a child, a spouse, a girlfriend, a good friend, and they didn't go to heaven. They went a different path than you did. You did good, but they didn't. They did bad things, but you still want them. You love them. You don't agree. You don't agree. You don't agree to be in heaven without them. It's not heaven for me without my beloved. And I'm not happy. I want to go back down. So I'm going to go back down, find this person. God is going to put me in a situation where we're able to find him and help him become a good person like I was, and both together grow spiritually so we can go to heaven together.
Beautiful. And one more question. You talked about near-death experiences. When you have a near-death experience, does that person, that individual, go up into heaven and then come back down?
Right. In other words, the body is still alive, or the heart is not totally dead, but the soul goes to heaven. Heaven is not up or down. It's actually right here. It could be that we have relatives that passed away that are watching us right now. Because it's the dimension, because they went very, very far and they didn't find anything. It's not far away and it's not up, it's here. It's just on a different dimension, a different level. And what Hashem told me is that the person will have the merit, a good person will have the merit to see his children and his family. And the more loving person he is, the more people he gets to see, because that gives him pleasure. It gives me pleasure to see my children happy. That's why a lot of times when a person dies, I know when my grandmother died, a lot of our problems all of a sudden got solved. Not only mine, but also my sister's, my family's problem, because she went to heaven and she said, wait a second, I have a lot of mitzvot, I have a lot of good deeds that I do. I want to use them as cash. That's my cash. Use them. Take this mitzvah. Take this payment. I was telling God to take this payment in order to cure my granddaughter. She's not okay. Help her. So if I didn't deserve to be cured, my grandmother helped me deserve to be cured. And that's what we talk about, the merit of our forefathers. If they have a lot of merit, they can help us. This thing is that we shouldn't be so attached to saving money, because when we die, we don't take it with us. But we have to be attached to saving good deeds. Look at any opportunity to do a good deed. Of course, it's not a good deed. If you do too much, then it's not really a good deed, because if it's on the account of your family, let's say if you go out of your way to help people and your children don't get attention because of that, that's not a good deed anymore. because that already is taking away from your family. Family has to be first. You have to be able to do good without doing bad. It's a very hard balance, but we have to try to perfect that balance to try to be good to others and good to the family and have a lot of merits. And all of these, so people give too much charity and then don't give to their children. That's not a good idea. But if you give only to your children and you are stingy with others just to make your children rich, then all that extra money is not going to do you any good in heaven. So we have to find the delicate balance and try to do good deeds, and that will be our stash. That will be our bank account. And we believe that our forefathers have a bank account that's so big that we keep on praying to them till this day, thousands of years later. We don't pray to them, but we pray that God saves us in their merit, in the merit of the forefathers, because they did such a big thing by bringing the idea of monotheism to the world, that the merit is so gigantic that we can still merit from that, and we can still ask God to use those merits in order to help us and to save us.
I learned from you that the currency in this world is material and monetary, and the currency in the next world is spiritual, and it's good deeds. So in the next world, you have bank accounts of good deeds, and you can cash them in, as you said. You can transfer the money into somebody else's account, even in this world, so that they'll be able to solve their problems. Maybe they'll have extra money materially in this world to have a better life. So that's what the bank account is in the next world. And so many people, as you said, most people aren't so spiritually inclined, so they're spending, pursuing the American dream or the dream of their life to acquire the biggest bank accounts that they can have, not realizing or not thinking that really what for their own future and their own family's future, the biggest rewards comes from the good deeds that they do and the good deeds that they do with their money in this world, because you can do good things or you can do bad things with your money in this world.
You wanted to add something?
I was just writing that down.
I wanted to say something because we're on guerrilla yoga also. So I want to say something about that in conjunction with health. One of the best deeds you can do is work on your health. Your evil inclination is to stay in bed. Your evil inclination is to eat junk. Yes. You get in the morning and you go to that gym and you work on yourself, you improve your body, then you can do other good deeds. If you're not going to have the strength to help people, you're not going to be able to do anything good. As a matter of fact, most aggravation and screaming and yelling comes from weakness, from physical weakness. Unless we're actually a bad person, an evil person, we're usually screaming and going crazy because we didn't eat properly, we didn't sleep properly, and we're weak. We didn't get enough exercise. So you take your money, and you're going to take your money and you're going to buy candy, Cracker Jacks, or you're going to take that money and buy health food. When you take that money and switch it into something that's good for you, good for your family, a membership to the gym, then you're doing a good deed with that money. That's how we connect the spiritual and the physical together.
Through health.
Through health. This is the biggest mitzvah you can do. It says in the Bible that you have to take care of your soul very, very much. Very good care of your soul. And taking good care of your soul, it takes initiative. And you should know that that initiative is a good inclination. It's coming from a good place. It's It's meaning that you're fighting. You're looking at something that looks good and tastes good, and you're not going to put it in your mouth because you're not a garbage can. You're not going to just stuff your face and eat more than you need because you're going to stop yourself. You're above that. You're above those evil inclinations.
Everything in this world can be good or bad. It's like the yin or yang or the duality. So, like you can have money, you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. So everything has both possibilities. And God is one. So God is the only one that would use evil for good. Okay? And that, so everything that God does, even if it's punishment or even if it's evil, it's to give a person a chance to repent or correct their ways. And so that if something evil happens in one's life, these spiritual people will ask the question, why did this happen, or what did I do wrong, or what didn't I do right that this happened? And a non-spiritual person would be quick to blame, well, this is because somebody else did this to me. And anything that happens to a person, God allows it to happen because he gives us free will. Now, if we merit it from our own good deeds, God can interfere. So you can see that somebody is going to harm someone and you get protection. So that's called divine providence. Then God is watching us. And when we do more and more good deeds, God is pleased, he watches us more. And there's an idea that God knows everything and he sees everything. Well, God also has the capacity not to watch. So like as we said before, there's lots of DVDs and there's lots of movies that are produced. So there's many junky movies or there's pornography and God doesn't even watch it. He doesn't even see it. He knows it's there, but he won't watch it. So if a person is not a good person...
There are godless places. There are places that God is not there unless you call out to him. If a person is in a sex slave and she scream out to God, he will answer her and he'll save her. But if she doesn't, the place is so disgusting that even God doesn't even want to be there. That's one of the reasons why it's important that if we have a surrounding that is evil, if we're with evil people, we have to get out of it. You have to break off. You can't say, I'm going to help the evil people. Nope. Get out. If you want to help evil people, they have to come to your court. Not with alone, but with others. You can't do it alone. If there's bad people and you're alone, you escape. And that's why Judaism allows divorce. If there's an evil spouse, you're out. You don't have to forgive everything and everybody. That's not your job.
Mm-hmm. And even with all the advances in this world, as we're being recorded now, and it's going to go to YouTube, and it's going to go to the internet, and we're able to communicate through email all around the world, and this is information that goes all around the world. That even with all these advances, there's much abuse. So on emails, there's phishing, and people try to steal your money. So this is the idol of today. It's to have money and more of it. So you have a sex slave industry to have more money. and it exists. And you still have, in the garment industry, sweatshops, and they still exist. And it's for the purpose of making money. And the corruption all over is for the purpose of making money.
The justice systems are very, very corrupt.
In the justice system, it's for the purpose of making money. You know, and these people act real spiritualism, and they don't think that there's a life where that there's going to be a justice system or review or a judicial review after this life where there isn't going to be any lies and everything is recorded. And in this world, if something isn't recorded on tape or video, people can get away with lying in court. But there's no such thing in the next world, in heaven, because everything is videotaped.
But if you're used to lying, you're going to lie. And you're going to lie in front of God and in front of all your relatives that passed away. And it's going to be very, very embarrassing. Because you do what you're used to doing. So you have to change your ways before you die. Because once you go up there, that's it.
Your character is set.
You're set in your ways, and it's going to be a real problem. You won't be able to behave and be appropriate because all of a sudden you see grandmother and great-grandmother and you want to behave nicely. It's not going to be like that. You have to be nicely before. Actually, you should even think about it. Sometimes it's hard for people to think that God is watching them, but maybe you should think that your grandmother is watching you. It's not that you believe in your grandmother is in the God, but it might be easier in order to behave. It's like, okay, I'm not going to make my grandmother upset. She really loves me. I'm not going to scream in front of her. She would not approve of this.
And when I get to heaven, boy, is she going to scream at me. But we've heard of people who are like that, but they still lie. And they still hurt. And it doesn't carry over. And in the Torah, in the Bible, we are instructed to love and fear God so that we can have evil consequences for doing evil. And it comes from God. And for those who have things go wrong with them, in that there's two possible reasons for it. God is watching or he's not watching. If he's watching, he'll give a consequence so that the person can change their ways. If God is not watching, it's like, okay, so it's like an oven. You program it, you put on a timer so that it goes on at a certain time and it goes off at a certain time. It works automatically.
And then everything works. The astrology works and palmistry and all these things work if you don't have God interfering. So you can go to astrologers and you can find out what's going to happen. But you could change it. You can ask God to change it and you can change it yourself. The belief in astrology was considered idol worship. It was started already in Egypt thousands of years ago. It was considered idol worship because you're believing that the stars make your destiny and not you make your own destiny. So Hashem gets very angry at that. Why did he even create a world if you're not even going to try? You're just going to throw your destiny to the stars.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the reasons why idol worship is so prohibited. It's so prohibited because it defeats the whole purpose of the world to begin with.
Which is to improve, to learn and to
improve, to change,
yes.
To fight the natural destiny and do what you can. You know what? I want to tell one thing. One of the messages I got from Hashem was that when I was a little girl, I was about, I guess, 13 and a half, 14, and my parents went into health food. And I was so interested and so excited about it. I was reading Adele Davis books, which is an adult book, and I was just so excited. I was cooking whole wheat and getting all to health. And Hashem said that when he saw I was so excited about health, he knew that I can do the job that he wants me to do. He didn't look if I'm praying with more devoutness. He didn't look to that. He looked for the health factor. Because that health factor means that already at 14, I'm willing to change. I'm willing to be different than everybody else. I'm willing to do something different. I'm excited to do something that is good against nature, against the destiny that's supposed to be, against the destiny of the world. This world is going to crash just from the nutrition. I believe that the whole Holocaust started because of nutrition. People were living on white bread, point blank. And this white bread corrupted their brains. Austria was mesmerized by the idol called the Führer. Hitler was called the Führer. They were mesmerized and they gave in their entire country without a fight. How could they be so mesmerized en masse? Because their nutrition was so bad. People started eating white flour, white bread only. They just cleaned up everything, threw all the vitamins to the cattle, and if they were lucky, they had a piece of chicken or some eggs.
White bread consists of white flour, refined oil, and chemicals. And today, in white bread, there's over 90 different chemicals, the same as there are in cigarette papers. And part of it, it's very addictive. So you get addicted to it as well. The addiction to cigarettes is much worse buying packages of it than it is in buying rolling papers and rolling your own, because there's different chemicals in the package and in rolling papers. So that all this compromises a person's ability to think, and it causes addiction. And in the white flour, it breaks down into sugar. And sugar addiction is the prior condition to all future drug addiction, like heroin. And today, there's a terrible opiate addiction, and there are opiates that are even legal, and they're legal drugs, and people are buying them, abusing it, overdosing in it, and it's an epidemic. It's all over, and people are dying from it. Well, the source of it is sugar addiction. And
also the doctors push it.
Yeah.
Doctors push it. It's also a source of idolizing the doctors.
Yes.
Like if the doctor gives me Percocet, so then it must be good for me.
Mm-hmm.
So these are false prophets.
Yes.
To say that this is good for you, that's a false prophet, because the doctors are looked to as healers, as very, very high level of trust in the doctors that goes on in America. And with that trust, he abuses it and gives a person an opiate that can hurt him and damage him for life. This is something that you have to fix. We need more healers around here to help people with their pain. There's enough natural medicine. Something that's very good for pain is MSM, by the way. Calcium lactate, which is not so commonly sold in your regular drugstore, but you can get it online. Calcium lactate is so good for pain that it can even help a woman giving birth. Arnica is like a homeopathic remedy.
And also
rescue remedy from Bach flowers. These things help the pain, so you don't need any opiates, and they could also help you get off your addiction to other opiates or to other drugs. You need to take, we make a mixture of rescue and arnica. You can make it yourself. You can buy rescue remedy from Bach flowers and mix it with 2/3 of arnica, homeopathic arnica. Shake it in a bottle and take it 2 drops anytime you need it. It's going to help you to fight that fight that you need to fight in order to get off sugar, to get off drugs, to get just to get out of pain. You give it also for after any operation, after any fall, any pain. It can be used externally also. You can mix it with some good olive oil and use it externally. Very, very miraculous stuff. Very miraculous. I've had women after 9 births, the 10th birth they did with Rescue in Arnica, they said, this stuff made my birth a breeze. So we can even fight the curse of Eve. That God gave her a curse that you're going to suffer through childbirth. There's enough herbs on this earth even to help a woman through childbirth. How much more so can we help people not to get into drugs and opiates? But we can't do it alone. We need a lot of healers and to be brave and to be open to use all of these beautiful herbs that Hashem created. I'm going to talk about that in my 4th book called Choose Life. I want to say about the books. These books are on the internet on exlibris.com. I have a website called GodTeachesBatya.com, which you should go to and learn all about my books. And we also have the book called God Meets the World that we discussed. That is about the 10 Commandments and God's Hidden Treasure, which is going to come out very soon, which is about proving that the Bible is really the same Bible we had from Moses. How did it even get here? And very, very fascinating time in history that are encoded in the Bible and not really. My job is to get the truth out, to explain how that's possible, even possible to have the Torah from 3,500 years ago intact, word for word. But it really is. It's really the same thing.
Your books are available on Ex Libris. That's XLIBRIS. Exlibris.com. Batya Shemesh. So now it's Who is God? And soon will be God Meets the World. And after that,
God's Hidden Treasure.
God's Hidden Treasure.
And Choose Life. And this book had a little introduction to Choose Life. To connecting between health food and spirituality.
Why do you say that the father of medicine is Hippocrates? And he made 3 axioms. And the first was, do no harm. The second is that let your food be your medicine, and let your medicine be thy food.
Really?
And yes. And
wow.
The third one is physician, heal yourself.
Wow.
So the first one is do no harm. Now on TV, you can see advertisements for all kinds of different medicines. There's not one that's there without serious side effects, up to sudden death. Okay? Hippocrates didn't say, do no harm 90% of the time, 80% of the time, 70% of the time, 60% of the time. He just said, do no harm. And all of the synthesized medicines can have even severe and fatal side effects. Next one is that your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food, so that the idea of proper nutrition is sorely lacking in the medical field today, and that it's okay to be eating foods that will addict you to opiates. But once you get addicted to the opiates, then they give you another drug, and there are so many people, especially elderly, that are taking 8 different medicines, and 7 of them are just to treat the side effects and the symptoms that are all listed on TV that you can get. So you get dry mouth from a medicine for blood pressure, so you get something for the dry mouth, and then you have to get something, because that'll make you pee too much or not pee enough, and then you get something for that, and pretty soon you have a pharmacy in your house. And
if somebody, you want to say if somebody does need a medicine, there are herbs that can help the side effects. There's no need to take medicine for the side effect. If you must take a medicine, which I don't want to discount, there's some things that just must be taken to save lives. We need herbs and vitamins to support the body's ability to handle the medicine and not other medications. So we're going to have a new website, and it's going to have room for a blog and room for questions so that I can answer people.
Okay, so we're going to end.
Come, Alex.
We're going to end. And,
come to say goodbye.
And we're going to end.
We want to say thank Alex.
Well, I say take a look at Alex, and you could see him. And the last one is the Hippocrates said, physician, heal thyself. So I try to make it a point not to go to a doctor who's in worse shape than I am.
Swag.
And 20, they could be at the age of being my grandchildren. I'm still in better shape than them.
Yup, let's get it.
There aren't too many physicians who really enjoy good physical health. They don't, so that's the first thing, to heal yourself. And Alex is definitely practicing being in good physical and mental and spiritual health. Now all he needs is to become a doctor.
Yeah, no, he is. Alex's yoga really is a healing yoga, and he is a healer.
Wow.
He's a healer already. He does take care of himself.
Yes, he just told us yesterday that from his aerial yoga, he's grown another half an inch taller.
Yup.
Yeah. So this is an unexpected result.
Side effects.
This is a good side effect.
Right?
It's not bad side effect until he gets too tall to come into my house.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, David, Batya. Check out the book online. Check out the website. Thanks again. This is Alex with Guerrilla Radio Health and Guerrilla Yoga. Have an excellent day. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Or shalom.
Shalom.